Right, so I decided now's the time to make an unpopular video. Today we want to talk about AI and NAS. Come back, sit down, you're here for this. We need to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room when it comes to data ownership these days. Let's face it, AI is being rammed left, right and center into every single network attached storage product right now from every single brand. So realistically, we need to talk about the tangible benefits and how and indeed if the brands are meeting us in the middle, which brings us to QNAP here. Their stand here at Computex, I'm going to use their stand as the example of a brand doing some good things, some slightly not good things for some of you, but ultimately combining local data storage along with the advantages of AI services. And I thought the best place to start is some ruddy, great big rack mounts. We've got ourselves here high availability in terms of uniform 24/7 365 access, this combined with more affordable solutions and the file tiering. Now the reason that's important in terms of AI is at the same time that you need quick, low latency access, at the same time you are going to be building up data. And trust me, at the end of the video we got something tucked around the back there that is exactly right for that job. But talking of the benefits of AI, coming a bit closer, we need to talk about a few things. One, the tangible benefits. Two, we need to talk about the security, the control, the privacy, ownership of IP. So someone isn't just going to rip you off and do their own thing. Now, one of the biggest problems with integrating AI into NAS alongside those is backups and access, because you want a NAS to back up all of your client devices. You need to ensure that secure encrypted transmission is taken care of, but at the same time opening those doors to the outside world and then integrating AI, let's be honest, we're juggling plates. Now, with these in mind, you've got things such as these, supporting HDP, which is the amalgamation of their backup software into a singular portal for both remote access or centralized, highly secure local, okay? So on top of that, we then got factoring in air gapping, where you can create scheduled or semi-permeable layers between you and your data, but more importantly, a zero trust environment for those things. Finally, at the bottom there, you have got dual controller and dual channel devices there that allow for that failover we mentioned earlier on when looking at some of the flash and non-flash solutions. Now, we talked a lot about rack mount. Come over here. Because now we need to talk about access. We need to talk about how you will get in. Now, at the moment, QNAP have let me into their stand early, so that's quite good, so no one's in the way. But for here, we need to talk about that semantic search, something that we've already seen from this brand before. Let's be honest, searching your files ain't new. But at the same time, the integration of AI, there is a moment, we've talked about this in other videos, where there is ad hoc access and then there is constant access. Case in point, you may have a situation where you are uploading new data, fresh data, green data. At the same time, you may have legacy data, decades old. Either way, you may want to use AI to sift and surf through decades of data. Or the data you're uploading today, perhaps at Computex, you need compiled, you need indexed, you need access. Now, semantic search has been around for a while, but now they've integrated the ability for videos when being uploaded, either live or the archive, to have the transcription, something we've talked about on the channel before. Now again, this is fully at admin level control. It is enabled or disabled at the user's behest. That's always been the problem, because when we've talked about AI NASs up to this point, one of the problems we've had is either NAS devices giving the AI limitless control, which comes with its own danger that we'll talk about in a moment, or they have gone too secure, and I know you're going to argue with me, but too secure in that the data, every single file needs to be hand ad hoc actions. This finds a middle ground where someone like myself that has decades of either YouTube data or that time I threw a frisbee in a park in 2002, it allows me to be able to have that data crawled and indexed. So when I look for the word frisbee, it either finds me saying the word frisbee or a frisbee. The point I'm making is the access, the sovereignty comes in part with the tangible benefits. Now, the range of these style of solutions is actually pretty darn good, because although there are benefits to using a GPU card, more on that in a moment, there is, of course, utilizing the local GPU and more modern processors with that wonderful NPU integration, giving tera operations ratings all the way along. And this device here, supporting U.2 and E1S drives here, focusing specifically on SSD, will give you that faster retrieval, but of course, let's be honest, how much are SSDs these days? And that's why you look at some of either the older generation, the pre-existing devices I might add, that are available that can still benefit from this. So that means you don't have to buy a brand new 2026 AI NAS. You can go ahead and use your existing architecture. Update to QUTS, currently in 6, I think it's release candidate 2, or use a bigger boy where you can integrate GPU cards ad hoc when you need them. But we get onto agency. Now, by agency, of course, I don't just mean the ownership, but this is utilizing AI agents. Now, AI agents, for those who aren't aware, I'll give you a potted history. Saying use an AI, it can do anything, is great until you need to do something. An AI agent working in the middle allows you to talk to the agent, and then the agent can go off and do its thing. We've all worked in showbiz, agents are great. Haven't got one. My number's at the bottom of the screen. But having an agent that allows me to, obviously in the easy sense, find me a picture of a cat, fine. But Aina here, A-I-N-A, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, will allow you to allow for access to the logs. Now, this does not have destruction capability. It doesn't have write over capability or format capability unless you want to. By default, it doesn't. The result is that you can ask this, who's accessed my system? What is the file frequency? Has there been unusual activity? Or at least set the system up and tell the agent, and again, when you see things like OpenClaw and other semantic connected agent AI software, it allows it to be a helpful tool that you can then pair with WhatsApp, pair with your Discord, or pair with communications of your own saying, and that gives you that level of control. But crucially, this is for users who may want to use remote LLMs. If you scale things up in terms of hardware, you can start installing GPUs or eGPUs as well, and that will allow you to then take advantage of local on-site GPU power. But there is still the flexibility to take advantage of remote LLMs with encrypted transmission and the idea that you may be using an existing subscription service and therefore scale down how much you're going to spend on the NAS. Again, that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but at the very least you've got that flexibility between them. And once you factor that in against the AI search parameters of things like semantic search alongside Q agent, the retrieval of that data semi-autonomously, for those that want it, will be beneficial. But I think we've talked more than enough about remote AI integration with the NAS. Let's face it, if you bought a NAS, you're sick to death of the cloud. So now we're going to talk in this completely not set up environment that we've done here about local deployment. But not only local, but how when you're using AI in a NAS, which again, I know isn't for everyone, but you are sitting on, in 2026, literally decades of data. It's not only like a whole thing anymore, it's literally decades of staff data, movie data, photos. Some of our children are in college. With that in mind, there is a huge amount of data on legacy systems, in legacy formats, in legacy databases that we need to retrieve and take advantage of time saving in AI. And that is what Oliver is going to show us now. Different levels of integration. Oliver, over to you, man.
We have, as you say, so many companies, they will have a legacy ERP system, and there's a huge of data, and they want to implement the AI feature instead. And in our demonstration, you will see this SQL database, and you will see so many records inside. If you want to find out some data, we just use a simple language, maybe ask what shipper handled the most sales order here. And the AI will generate a SQL, and then search out the answer from our database and feedback to our answer. This demonstration can resolve most companies if they are database, many records. You can see this is near a million records. We just paste a simple sentence, can you show me the revenue by country for past 5 years? After they generate the SQL data, it will show you how can we search the data from our database and then show you the result in just a second. And everything is running in locally and make sure all the data.
So it's running on an IP as well, and this NAS has no remote level access.
Yeah.
So just to confirm, can you show me that this has definitely got no remote access? Because I know it's on the IP at the top, but I need to know.
I can show you once I generate the SQL, our CPU processing will run to 100%.
Okay.
To show all the processing is running inside our GPU.
So with this running here in the background, we've got the GPU utilization there as well.
Yeah.
I think overall, when it is accessing all of this, the GPU card, how much of this would be possible without the GPU card?
Actually, for the low entry model, it's enough. Just the difference is the processing time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if and this is running within a container, I imagine.
Yes,
so can you show us the container station application? So from here, these are the different agents, one imagine. So these are all running simultaneously.
Yeah. So you can create demonstration, just a test SQL demonstration or our model, and different LLM or config generated image.
And they're all running locally, they've all got a complete lack of external access there. And with regards to file permissions and file access, I mean, again, much like any other Docker, I imagine it cannot step outside of the paths that have been presented to it. Yeah. So I remember seeing an interface, an agent interface. If we go into the agent interface from earlier, I do remember seeing an input where a user might ask the system to destroy data.
It's not possible.
Well, this would not be possible.
It's not
so
possible.
if we could go for an example, what exactly would this say? So this is logging in the background. So this is running Claude, okay? Can you remove all my data? I mean, that is concise. Anyone that's ever typing that cannot be a good guy. If this removes all the data, it would be hilarious. You can tell this in the script, that made me feel quite happy. So again, it's completely disallowed to do anything. And I imagine you might be able to do it if you forced it, but you would need to really go out of your way and get administrative access.
Or if your agent have your login access, login password, and then you override all your settings and log in by the browser and remove all of it.
And I mean, in terms of access, obviously we are talking just here at the NAS level. With the switches that I'm going to talk about in just a moment, I think how much AI integration, I mean, is there a way in which the AI could change the ports and connections on a switch? Is that possible?
I think it's not easy, but try.
You could try, and it would. Well, do you know what? Let's talk switches.
Okay.
But all of this matters not a jot if while you're doing it, you have to leave your system in an open door state. If you have to leave the back door open in order for a remote AI to get the job done, you're not going to sleep. No one's going to sleep in that. And that's where a multitude of switches here can be beneficial. Notwithstanding, you can integrate these into the same architecture for more focused and more managed input-output into that network remotely, but also on the local area network. But alongside that, the scale out of these switches and the integration with a lot of those QNAP remote services allow you to manage that bubble. Now, there are again going to be users that never want to put their NAS on an online environment. They want to keep it local, keep it locked in. And the point I'm making with this is that this allows you to have that managed local network with a super high performance switch managing those AI devices in between. I know AI isn't for everyone, and if you stuck with me up to this point in the video, almost certainly it's because you're curious about how AI services may assist you in your deployment. The only thing I can say to you is, until you've tried it, then there are benefits. Chances are, while you're watching this, since you woke up, you used something with AI. Your smartphone, you went on a social media site, you used the device with AI passively. That's what this needs to be, passive. It's very loud right now because they have to in terms of marketing, and that's not for everyone. But still nonetheless, I do think the tangible benefits are there when they're done securely and right, with data sovereignty being the priority. But if we come round to here, we look at more manageable solutions, because now these are ones we've already talked about in the channel recently. These are solutions for the desktop. Many of these, by the way, are around and under the 1K mark. Some of them much less than that, some a fraction more. These are a selection of solutions that take advantage of CPUs that are NPU ready, or at the very least are able to take advantage of that RAG search, are able to take advantage of deeper, more forensic searches using human language to get the job done. You don't have to look at the bigger boys. You can deploy it again on an existing system. And if you want, take advantage of connections such as USB 4 and Thunderbolt to get the job done even more local than before. But I promise you something big that's come round. Because we got to talk about the bigger boy. Because as mentioned earlier on, if you are going to be running AI, and of course we are now deep, elbow deep into enterprise here, you're going to create a lot of data. And if you are running multi-site, if you are running large-scale deployment where you've got multi-site all dealing with different kinds of data at different scales, performance and intensity, that's where things like this are going to come in. With file tiering already available across multi-site and QNAP's Q tier currently available not only in ext4 but also the ZFS platform, it allows you to tier the mother effing hell out of your data across SAS hard drives and SSDs, SATA hard drives, across SATA SSDs, M.2, E1S drives, U.3, and all of these add up to a huge amount of data, all being created all the time. And again, knowing that you can take advantage of systems like these in order to do it is only a good thing. But AI is not for everyone. We have to accept that as long as brands continue to shove the term AI into their solutions, we've got two options. One, abandon them and only go for the brands that don't include AI, which unfortunately is becoming thinner and thinner, or at least investigate how these brands are integrating AI. If it's useful, but more importantly, can you control it at root? And that's why this is important, because what we're seeing here is more and more tiered solutions, but in its most basic form, AI with an off switch and an on when you want it. And that's why I like what I'm seeing here. But this has been, do we want AI in our NAS? And thanks for QNAP for letting me on their stand a little bit early. This isn't sponsored by them, this is just me chatting at you. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll link to some of the products below, and I'll link to some of the solutions from QNAP. I'm going to be returning some of the solutions there at the back shortly, because some of those are of particular interest to photo video editing, but also in this crazy, annoying world of AI. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.